It's time for our next debate. Up next, it's Belinda. Belinda, what have you got for us tonight?
Well, Osama bin Laden is trending on TikTok. And no, not because the woke students in America who have been batting for Hamas recently have seen the error of their ways, nor because they want to educate themselves on this Islamist death cult and the suffering around the world it causes. No, sadly, it's the opposite. Bin Laden has been trending because mostly college-age women are circulating Bin Laden's letter to America that justifies his 9/11 attacks and agreeing with him, with young women saying he had a point, that his letter was well written and everything he said was valid. TikTok generations are going mad. These women wouldn't last a day in Bin Laden's world, locked up without a chaperone, denied an education and treated like cattle. But apparently, as long as radical Islamists hate the West, they are happy to get into bed with them, and TikTok seemed happy to circulate this Islamist anti-Jewish manifesto long enough to get millions of views. TikTok is brainwashing our children, spreading deeply harmful and contested ideologies to millions of easily manipulated young minds. The latest fashion is hating Israel, and wow, has Generation TikTok embraced that. Why else do we see teens tearing down photos of kidnapped children and marching side by side with these radicals on protests, thinking they are righteous? From whipping up pro-Hamas sentiment to self-harm, eating disorders, encouraging the young to believe they're born in the wrong body, this highly addictive, life-sucking platform is creating a hostile climate for the well-being of our children and should be banned. Now, I will ask Alex, you free speech absolutionist, do you think...
Not so much, apparently. Not so much. Benjamin's correct. So I stand corrected.
Not so much. Do you think TikTok should be banned?
No, I don't. And listen, while you've made some fantastic points, Belinda, and many that I don't disagree with, what I will say is this. Young people are very easily led by very simple messages. And it's very easy for the pro-Palestine, pro-Hamas people to say, Israel is slaughtering millions of children. They're under, this horrible regime where they're suppressed, etc., etc. And it's much harder for the state of Israel to argue that back. Now, should we ban something because a small, radical group of very vocal people are putting out insufferable ideology online? Absolutely not. What needs to happen is the vocal majority of people who find this absolutely disgraceful need to use these platforms more often and actually get their voice out there. Because once we do that, we'll start having this counter to this terrible tyranny of the minority. So I really don't think we should ban something for the sake of appeasing those people, because they'll find the next platform. And then what do? Ban Twitter? Ban Facebook?
No, but we could ban smartphones for under 18.
Oh, for goodness sake, Albie.
I actually think that Belinda doesn't go far enough. I honestly feel that the biggest threat to our children at the moment are smartphones. And I find it absolutely shocking if I go out for dinner and I see a family around a table at dinner and they're all on their phones. I just think, what is it like at home? You see parents and children walking down the road, the mum's on her smartphone or the dad's on their smartphone, the children are on their smartphones, not interacting, and we see the impact that it's having on children's mental health, and it's having a particular impact on the health of young women.
Albie, that's really wishful, but it will send our country back to the dark ages.
No, it won't. The dark ages of children playing outside and having a childhood over
No, Belinda, you're absolutely right. But we will lose any competitive advantage. If you start teaching children at 18 how to use a smartphone, we will be completely eradicated from the world stage. China is teaching their kids, and they have a much better policy on this. They feed their social media platform with educational things. So there's a much better way to do this.
Hang on. You're just making the case for Belinda to ban TikTok.
No, but it's not banned in China.
No, because you're saying that the Chinese are gaming this app.
They absolutely are.
That they created to...
But they have their own app. They have it's not the same app. It's not the same app. They use the social media platforms to actually...
So let's ban the poisonous app that they've created to poison the West.
Well, why don't we just fill it and put legislation in it with content that's actually going to educate young children? Well, what's more... Well, listen, what's more pie in the sky? Banning smartphones for everyone under 18, or actually transforming social media to make it an acceptable place for young people?
What is less pie in the sky would be to just ban TikTok.
I think
listen.
Yeah, so Benjamin, what do you think?
Only this week, Nepal banned TikTok. Yes. So clearly it's possible for a government to do that. Look, I think in reality, it's not something that's going to happen, and I would be very reluctant to be in a country that is so fearful of the modern world that it starts banning things like TikTok, like Twitter, like Instagram. If you really went down that route, I don't know where you would stop.
Well, we ban synthetic drugs. We ban progression in other areas that are harmful to our children. It's literally harming the mental well-being of our children. I've got 4 teenagers. It's addictive. The dopamine that you get, the kicks off the TikTok, it specially manipulates the mind. This is not a harmless platform when you can have free speech and it's all lovely, just get more balanced ideas out there. It's a drug, and our children are addicted, and they will rule over us one day, and we'll regret letting them have all this social media and smartphones.
There are 32 million views of me on TikTok, and none of them on an account I own.
And none of them very nice about him.
No, none of them very nice. But look, the reason I don't have an account is because when I looked at it once or twice, I was horrified by how addictive it was. It was on another scale. But, yesterday I was speaking at the University of Exeter, so everyone there, I suspect, was born this millennium, right, if they're a university student. And I have to say, the idea that they all loved Bin Laden or bought into any TikTok craze was not true at all. I was really amazed by how bright and the diversity of thought. And so I wouldn't be so cynical about the younger generation.
Right, OK.